Welcome to the channel, friends. So today's project will be routine maintenance and lubrication points on the DR RapidFire kinetic type wood splitter. This type of routine maintenance also applies to other make and model kinetic type wood splitters. So if this is something that's going to interest you, stay tuned and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so welcome back. Here is my DR K34 Pro XL wood splitter. And I've had this splitter for about 5 years now. And it's time to do a good overhaul on it with the DR maintenance kit and take care of all the normal preventive maintenance issues and items. So, just really quick, I want to touch on what you see here. I have a video out there for part 1 of this, which is simple upgrades you can do to the wood splitter. That's going to be tagged above. And also part 2, which is what you see right here. I custom fabricated up a set of table wings to extend the table out left and right to enhance the work surface on the DR, which works out great. Now you can take your splits, say if it's like half a log, you can take it and put it to the left or the right and have plenty of room up down the middle here to continue splitting. So this prevents the logs from basically hitting the ground and rolling off the table, which is a very big annoyance when you're trying to get work done effectively and efficiently. So that helps out a lot. I just made this out of just some scrap metal I had around the shop. So if you're interested in how I did that, check out that video. That's part 2. This being part 3, I'm gonna have multiple videos to this series. So I'm gonna have the next one, part 4, which is going to be how to effectively use a kinetic type splitter. So I'm gonna go over all kind of the easy tips and tricks on using the machine and how to make it work easier for you. So that's gonna be part 4. Maybe even a slow motion video will be part 5. So I have some videos in the works. I want to expose the covers here on the machine and show you guys the twin flywheels operating the rack and pinion system that drives the ram, which splits the wood. So that's going to be fun. Stay tuned for more videos when it comes to the DR wood splitter. I'm going to have, I think, up to 7 or 8 videos coming. So it's going to be fun. But today we're going to cover just the routine maintenance, which is taking care of the oil change, air filter, and stuff like that, belts, and just overall maintenance on the machine of what I think needs to be done. I do have the maintenance kit for this. As you can see here, this is the part number, model number, I should say, for the engine. It's a Subaru engine. It's a 6 horsepower. The SP-170. So this is what my machine has. Your DR might be different depending on what year you bought it. So let's go take a look in the workshop and see what the maintenance kit entails. Okay, so here is the DR maintenance kit. This is the part number. It is $55, as you can see here on the invoice. This was purchased 5 years ago. It came with the wood splitter when I bought it. So, really handy. We have fresh oil. We have ethanol fuel treatment. We have a set of brand new belts. We have a NGK spark plug. And also we have a Subaru air filter. There is the part number if you guys need it. So this is the basic maintenance kit from DR, and this is what I'm going to be installing today basically. I'm going to go through the process of draining the oil, replacing the belts, spark plug, and air filter. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the process of draining the oil first, and we'll go from there. Okay, so before I go ahead and replace the belts and go ahead and sharpen the wedge, I want to talk about a couple things I just noticed as I was taking the shrouds apart. You don't have to take off this shroud to service the belts and to take care of everything on this side. I just took it off because of the sake of the video, and it gives me more light to see everything and with the camera. So, with that being said, I noticed that this nut right here was just sitting on top of the beam underneath the rack and pinion. So this nut is to the bearing that rides on top of this surface here. So there's an aluminum bearing, or it could be steel. I can't really tell by the angle here. But anyways, it rides on top of this to keep the ram in place from coming too high. Well, this is the nut that goes on the bolt, which is right there, if you can see it. So I have to go ahead and tighten that and put that back on. And as I'm looking around, I notice that I have a spring that's loose. So that spring there attaches to the bottom of the ram underneath here. So there's two of them. You have one on this side and one on this side here, closest to me. So this one here obviously came loose, and that's why I was having an issue when I was splitting wood, that the ram wasn't retracting back like it did when it was brand new. All it was that spring coming undone. So that's an easy fix. I'll just hook that back up. The nut I'll take care of. And then at first glance, these belts, you can tell that they're kind of loose on there. They're not really tight. So it's a good thing to replace the belts, or what you can do is you can just tension them. So back here is the tensioning mechanism. It's basically this platform that the motor is sitting on. You take a 14mm socket and loosen this. This is the locking nut or bolt for the whole apparatus here. but it pivots on this one here, and then you basically lift and raise this up to either remove tension or add tension by, you know, pushing the platform down towards the ground. So that's how you adjust the belt tension on this, which is much needed. As you can see, these are kind of loose. So that's the reason why I was probably having an issue when it was coming to some bigger logs. I was getting some slippage. I wasn't getting the full power transfer from the flywheels through the belt into the ram. So that's a good thing. I'm glad I took this apart, and I'm noticing things. Also, another thing I will be taking care of while I have this apart is scraping the top surface here of all the debris. Same thing for the top of the beam. As you can see, there is a bearing here that runs back and forth on the beam. This should all be scraped off and cleaned with some brake cleaner. This should be all clean surface. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. Keep this nice and clean, both sides and the top of the ram, rack and pinion. So this stuff is just from me spraying white lithium grease and pretty much debris and dust and everything building up and turning into a paste, and then it hardens. So that's something you want to take care of. Now knowing what this kind of mechanism looks like on the inside, I am not going to spray white lithium grease anymore on top of this surface. You only need it on the teeth, so the very bottom of the rack. The teeth are in good condition from what I can tell. You can also, from this side here, you can see the other side of it, and the teeth on the pinion part look good. They do not look worn, so that's a good thing. But this here is the critical part that you want to grease. The way you do that, before each use, when I do it, I take the ram, I pull it all the way out here to its maximum, and I spray underneath where the teeth are with white lithium grease right here. This is the stuff that I use. So pretty much that takes care of the mechanism when it comes to lubrication and greasing of the teeth. That's all you really need to grease, because everywhere else, if you spray grease, it's going to build up a hard paste and then harden over time, and it's going to become a problem or an issue, which will stop the ram from free-flowing, you know, back and forth as it should, freely without extra resistance or drag. So that's something I'm learning right now. I didn't think that spraying anything on there would cause a problem, but it does, because it all, like I said, it builds up, and then it's just not good. So one other thing I noticed is that if you take a look in here, the ram can move side to side. So these carriage bolts here on the left and right allow you to adjust the left and right slop or clearance in the ram. So I'm gonna be going ahead and tightening up that just a little bit, so there's just like you know, a 1/16 of an inch on either side. I don't want this thing flopping around that much, because that means the teeth on the rack are chewing into the pinion a little bit more than they should if they were just sitting nice and parallel to each other. So that's something I'm gonna do. What else? I'll be taking care of the wedge. I'll be sharpening it with a grindstone here, just a simple stone. Take care of any burrs or anything that's in there, make it nice and sharp. And pretty much I'll spray white lithium grease, like I said, on the teeth, and make sure I get it to the back there on the pinion. So I'll go ahead now and change out the belts, tension those, and sharpen it up, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on the whole thing. All right, so here is the DR completed. I went ahead and did a full detailing on the machine, and belts are nice and tight and going to offer better performance because they're not going to slip. They have a nice bite now. I'm really happy about that. So I'll be doing some more wood splitting coming up in the next few days. Also, I will be doing a video on tips and tricks to operate a kinetic type splitter. That's going to be next. And then possibly after that, a slow motion video with the flywheels exposed, splitting wood. So that's all coming up in the future, and happy splitting. Well, guys, that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or comments, please place them right down below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.